Let me ask you something. When most agents think about a business plan, if they think about a business plan, what do they think about first? They think about Zillow leads. They think about Facebook ads. They jot down a social media posting schedule. They start planning how many times they need to pick up the phone to cold call strangers who don't know them, don't trust them, and frankly, don't want to hear from them. And they call that efficiency. They call relationships the slow way. I want to challenge that today. Not with my opinion, not with philosophy alone, but with numbers that don't lie. And with a truth so simple, it will frustrate you that you didn't fully live by it sooner. I'm going to throw a lot of numbers out today, so hold on tight. I will source them down in the description. But here's the question. Is growing relationships the slow way to build a real estate business? And here's the answer. It's not the slow way, it's the only way. And for the serious professional, it's also the fastest way. Let me show you why. First, the illusion of the shortcut. Every year, agents spend fortunes chasing strangers. They pay for leads, internet leads, portal leads, purchase lists, and here's what the data says about those investments. Approximately 0.4% to 2.4% of real estate leads convert into sales. That means for every 1,000 leads you pay for or reach out to, only 4 to 24 will result in a closed deal. 4 to 24 out of 1,000. You're spending money, spending time, spending energy, spending your life on a process that fails 97 to 99% of the time, and someone sold you that as a business strategy? Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. Not emotionally. Think about it like an investor. If someone handed you a stock that failed 97% of the time, would you call your broker and say, hey, give me more of that? Of course not. But agents do it every day because they believe the lie. They believe the shortcut is shorter. Jim Rohn used to say, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Get better at cultivating relationships. The agent who chases cold leads is always wishing the leads were warmer. The agent who grows relationships has warm leads, permanently, compounding, without paying for them every month. Second, what the numbers actually say. Let me give you the other side of the ledger. When you combine the instances of both sides of the transaction, either the seller or the buyer being initiated by a referral, when you combine those, 82% of all real estate transactions are a product of referrals. Not some, not most, 82%. Now I want you to sit with that number. If 82 out of every 100 transactions in this country are born from a relationship, from trust, from reputation, from someone telling their spouse, call our agent, then what exactly is the other path competing for? 18% of the market at a conversion rate of less than 2%? I mean, hey, do it your way. I'm not here to tell you what to do, just to give you an alternative. 43% of buyers used an agent referred to them by a friend, neighbor, or relative, and 12% used an agent specifically because they were a friend or family member. These buyers didn't go to Google first. They didn't compare agents on a portal. They called someone they knew or called someone they trusted and said, who do you know? And here's the seller side. 65% of sellers found their agent through a past transaction or a referral. Notably, 46% of sellers choose the same agent who represented them when they originally purchased the home. And in my opinion, the only reason that number isn't any higher is because too many times that previous agent is no longer in business. So think about that. Nearly half of all sellers go back to their original agent. Not the cheapest agent, not the agent with the biggest billboard, their agent, the one who showed up for them, the one that made them feel known. Now, if you will just systematically stay in touch with your past clients, you can drive your numbers of repeat business to upwards of 80% or more. That's not slow business. That is loyal business. And loyal business is the most valuable kind there is. Now, here is the philosophy behind the numbers, at least as I understand it. Let me give you something to think about beyond the stats. Why do referrals work so well? Why are they so dominant, so durable, so resistant to competition? Because of one simple truth. People do business with people they trust. And trust is not purchased. It is earned over time through consistency, through care. 92% of consumers in any market or product trust recommendations from friends and family above all other forms of advertising. I'll say that another way. The most powerful marketing campaign you will ever run costs you next to nothing in ad spend. It lives in the hearts of the people who already know you. And every time you serve someone well, you are not just closing a transaction. You are loading a gun that will fire referrals for years, sometimes decades to come. Life is not about what happens to you. It is about what you do with it. And this industry will bring you clients. The question is, what do you do with those clients after the closing table? Because most agents close the deal and close the relationship in the same moment. They walk out the door with a commission check and never look back. And then they wonder why their phone isn't ringing. Here's the discipline. The transaction is not the end. The transaction is the beginning. Now, let's talk about the math of compounding relationships. Let me get practical with you. 88% of buyers and 84% of sellers would use their agent again or refer them to others when they were surveyed after closing. Meaning, nearly 9 out of 10 of your past clients are willing to send you business. Willing. Right now. Today. They just need to be reminded that you're still in business. They need to be kept in a relationship. They need to feel that you still value them, not just their transaction. The typical agent earns 42% of their business from repeat clients and referrals from past clients. And that's the typical agent, meaning the average, the middle, the person doing it halfway. What happens when you do it intentionally? 21% of agents get more than 50% of their business from referrals from past clients alone. 25% of agents generate more than 50% of their business from repeat clients. You stack those together, repeat clients and referrals, and suddenly you have an agent whose phone rings because of who they are, not because of what they're spending. That is not a slow business. That is a self-sustaining business. That is a business built on bedrock. And here's where compounding comes in, because here's what most agents miss. Every client you serve is not just one transaction. They are a network node, like a hub with spokes shooting in all directions. They know neighbors, coworkers, siblings, friends who will buy or sell a home at some point. One offline word-of-mouth conversation increases sales by at least 5 times more than a paid advertisement. Consumers rely on word of mouth 2 to 10 times more than paid media. 2 to 10 times without a single extra dollar spent. Now multiply that by 20 past clients, by 50, by 100. You are not building a database. You are building an army of advocates. And armies like that do not retire. They grow. And as an immediate bonus, while you're building, 4 to 5% of new people that you meet, either from an introduction or a networking event or out in the community, 4 to 5% are in the home buying and selling thought process or that cycle right now. Today, 4 to 5% of everybody you bump into is actively thinking about moving. Zillow just doesn't know it yet. That means if you talk to 25 new people, there's a better than average likelihood that one of them is a potential client right away. So let's talk about a misunderstanding, the misunderstanding of slow. So why do agents call this the slow way? Because it doesn't feel urgent. You go to lunch with a past client and you don't come home with a signed contract. You send a handwritten note and nothing happens that afternoon. You call someone just to check in, just to serve, just to be present, and there's no immediate reward. And so the impatient agent says, this isn't working. But here's the thing about a tree. When you plant it in the spring, it doesn't give you fruit that afternoon. And a fool might look at that tree and say, this isn't working. But the farmer knows. The farmer understands the season. The farmer trusts the process. You cannot make a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Some things simply cannot be rushed. And the trust of another human being is one of those things. But here's the thing. You are going to be somewhere in 90 days, no matter what. You're going to be somewhere in 6 months, either way. The question is, will it be empty-handed or with a bucket full of relationships? The agent who calls a past client only when they need a deal is not building a relationship, they are extracting from one. And people can feel the difference. The agent who calls to give, to share a market update, to celebrate a birthday, to simply say, I was thinking about you, that agent is investing. And every investment in a genuine relationship will pay dividends. Not always today, not always this quarter, but it will pay. The math is on your side. The stats prove it. History bears it out. You just have to do the work that makes the math work. Now, I want to be honest with you because I believe you deserve honesty more than you deserve a pep talk. This is not easy. If it were easy, every agent would already be doing it. And the fact that 87% of buyers and sellers say they would be happy to recommend their agent to others, but most agents never see those referrals actually materialize, tells us everything we need to know. The client satisfaction is there. Their willingness is there. What's missing is the system, the discipline, the follow-through. Many agents fail to implement the follow-up systems needed to turn that latent satisfaction into active referral business. You must have a system, not a feeling, not good intentions, a system. Schedule the calls, write the notes, mark the anniversaries. What anniversaries? Home purchase anniversaries, birthdays, kids' birthdays, milestones. Show up consistently, not just conveniently. Because people do not refer agents they've forgotten. They refer agents who make them feel unforgettable. Here's the simple truth. Your relationship portfolio is the single greatest business asset you possess. Not your license, not your MLS access, not your ad budget. The relationships you have built and the ones you are building right now are your retirement account. Tend to them accordingly. Many agents don't accept the truth of the relationship building strategy. But not only is it the truth, it's great news. In a world where the fearful are yelling, will AI be the death of the real estate agent? And if you're not using AI, you will get left behind. It is those who develop and master the human skills that actually will win. Don't get me wrong. I used AI to help research the statistics and edit the scripts for this video. But I'm AI agnostic. If it will help me, I'll use it. But use technology to enhance relationships, not replace them. Otherwise, you're just contributing to your own demise. I'll wrap this up with this. The fastest road is not the loudest one. So let me bring this back to the question we started with. Is growing relationships the slow way to build a real estate business? Only if you define speed by how loud your marketing is. Only if you measure momentum by how much you're spending on leads. Only if you confuse activity for progress. But if you define speed by how quickly you build a business that doesn't depend on advertising, if you measure momentum by how many people you are actively in your corner, ready to send you their friends and colleagues, if you define a real business as one that grows while you sleep, one that compounds year after year, one that cannot be disrupted by a Zillow algorithm or a market correction, then relationships are not the slow way. They are the only way. Remember, 82% of all real estate transactions are a product of referrals. Not because the market is broken, not by accident, because human beings have always done business with people they trust, and they always will. Your competition is out there buying strangers. You could be out there serving friends. Your competition is paying for attention. You could be earning loyalty. Your competition is trying to build a pipeline. You could be building a legacy. The question is not whether relationships are worth growing. The question is, why haven't you made it your primary strategy? Start today. One call, one note, one lunch, one moment of genuine interest in another human being's life. The tree you plant today will shade your business for years to come. Plant it.